Listen and practice.
My name is Alex. I grew up in a small town far from big cities, but I always dreamed of going to New York City. People talked about it like it was the most exciting place in the world, with tall buildings, bright lights, and people from every corner of the globe. I'd look at pictures in magazines, wondering if I'd ever seen them myself. When I was 15, something happened that changed my life. My dad lost his job, and things became really hard for my family. We didn't have enough for nice clothes, toys, or even sometimes food. I saw my mom cry in the kitchen when she thought no one was watching. I didn't know how to help. My dad would say, "It'll get better," but I didn't know when. One day at school, my teacher, Mrs. Carter, asked me to read in front of the class. I stood up, but I felt so nervous. English wasn't straightforward for me. I made mistakes, and the kids laughed. I felt my face turn red, and I just wanted to run away. But then Mrs. Carter said something that stuck with me. She said, "Alex, mistakes are part of learning." That night, I couldn't stop thinking about her words. I didn't feel brave. I felt like a failure. But her words made me want to try again. Maybe I wasn't perfect at English yet, but I could get better if I kept practicing. After that, I started reading more. Every night, I'd read a little from my old books. At first, it was slow. I got stuck on words, and it took forever to finish a chapter. But little by little, I got better. I noticed that reading more helped me understand better. I even started writing in a journal. I'd write about my day, my dreams, and my feelings. It felt beneficial to put my thoughts into words. One day, my mom surprised me. "We're moving to New York," she said with a smile. My heart jumped. I couldn't believe it. My dad had found a new job in the city, and we were going to start fresh there. I was excited, but also scared. Would I fit in? Would I make friends? The first day in New York was like nothing I had ever seen. The city was loud and busy, with people everywhere speaking different languages. I felt small. Everything moved so fast, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever get used to it. I missed my old home and my friends, but I told myself, "This is a chance to grow. You can do this." At my new school, I felt like an outsider at first. The kids spoke quickly, and I struggled to keep up. But I remembered Mrs. Carter's words and kept trying. I started talking to one boy in my class, Tom. He was kind and patient. He helped me with words I didn't understand, and soon we became friends. Learning English became my way to connect with people. I realized that the more I learned, the more I understood others, and they understood me. It wasn't just about speaking correctly. It was about opening up new opportunities. I still remember the first time I gave a presentation in English. I was shaking and my voice cracked, but I made it through. When I finished, I looked at the teacher, waiting for her reaction. She smiled and said, "Great job, Alex. You've come a long way." I felt proud, and for the first time, I believed in myself. But not every day was easy. Some days I wanted to give up. There were times when I felt I'd never be as talented as the other kids. I remember sitting in my room, crying, feeling overwhelmed. But then I would pick up my journal and start writing. Writing helped me express what I felt, even if I didn't have the right words. It was my way of pushing through tough moments. My dad would often tell me, "Learning a new language is like building a bridge. Every day you add a piece, and one day you'll cross to the other side." His words made me see English as something I could build, not something to fear. I started watching TV shows in English with subtitles, and it helped a lot. I learned new words and phrases just by listening. It showed me that English wasn't just in books, it was all around me. I could learn from movies, songs, and even people talking on the street. One day, I was sitting in Central Park, writing in my journal, when I heard someone speaking Spanish. I turned and saw a boy about my age struggling with a vendor. I remembered how I felt when I first came to New York, so I walked over and helped him. His name was Carlos, and he had just moved from Mexico. We became friends, and I started teaching him English, just like Tom had helped me. Helping Carlos made me realize something important. When you learn something, it's not just for yourself. You can help others too. English wasn't just helping me. It was helping me connect and make a difference. Carlos and I studied together after school. We made learning fun. I'd say a word in English, and he'd say it in Spanish. We'd laugh at our mistakes, but we kept trying. It felt like an adventure. There were moments when I felt so proud of how far I had come. I could have conversations without thinking too hard. I could write stories that made sense. And every time I helped someone else with English, it felt like I was giving back what I had learned. One day, I was walking home from school when I saw a little boy crying on the sidewalk. He looked lost and scared. I kneeled down and asked, "What's wrong?" He didn't speak English well, but I understood that he couldn't find his mom. I stayed with him, talking softly, trying to keep him calm. Eventually, we found his mom, and she thanked me with tears in her eyes. That moment showed me that learning English wasn't just about reading or writing. It was about being able to help someone when they needed it. As time passed, New York began to feel like home. I wasn't scared of the tall buildings or the rapid pace anymore. I had friends. I was learning every day, and I was growing. It was no longer scary to speak English. It improved my life. Looking back, I realized that learning English taught me more than just a language. It taught me patience, determination, and resilience. Every mistake I made was a step forward. Every time I felt like giving up, I discovered I was stronger than I thought. I still remember the day I wrote my first full story in English. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. I read it to my mom, and she cried. But this time, they were happy tears. She told me how proud she was and how far I'd come. It was a moment I'll never forget. Now, I want to share what I've learned with others. If you're learning English, keep going. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to feel frustrated. But don't give up. Every word you learn brings you closer to your goals. English isn't just about words. It's about expressing yourself, understanding others, and creating new opportunities. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep speaking. You'll get there one day at a time. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. We all start somewhere, and we all have the ability to grow.